Coming up on the Thunder Squad Show, I'm going to tell you why I believe Oklahoma City Thunder GM Sam Presti has cracked the code on the second apron.
I'm Jeremy Lamb, and I'm going to talk about why Daigneault is the best coach in the NBA.
I'm Rylan Stiles. I'm going to tell you why Chet Holmgren will be an all-star this year.
This is Locked On's Thunder Squad Show, the twice-a-week show where Thunder talk gets real. No filters, no fluff, just raw takes, sharp opinions, and straight-up passion for the game, the way only Locked On Podcast Network knows how. Let's drop some dimes and squad up. The Thunder Squad Show starts now.
What's good, everybody? Welcome in to the Thunder Squad Show. Tyler Jones here with you. So glad to have you with us for our fourth episode. We got plenty to discuss, from Mark Daigneault to Chet. We'll talk Sam Presti, Cason Wallace, and more coming up here in just a matter of moments. But before we do, I want to take a moment to tell you about our sponsor. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. That is code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Check them out today. You'll be glad you did. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get right to it. Let's begin with Mark Daigneault. What a job that this guy has done as the Thunder head coach over the last several seasons. He began as the head coach of the Oklahoma City Blue, the G League team, and rose up the ranks and got the call up after Billy Donovan departed to the Chicago Bulls, and has grown up with this team, with this young core, to see them be what they've become. And even going back to the days when he was with the Blue, he was a part of the development of Alex Caruso, among others as well. And now we're sitting here, the Thunder have the best record in the NBA at 17-1. There's, of course, already been talk about chasing history of, could they beat that record that was set by the Golden State Warriors a few years ago? And Jeremy, we'll start with you. Daigneault, what do you like from him, the Thunder head coach, and where does he rank among the league's best in your opinion?
I mean, me personally, I feel like he's the best in the NBA. And it's crazy because he put people in position that they don't understand, like, the position that they're in, but he does it so he's so comfortable with, his team and his people. So I feel like he's the best coach in the league. Like, how are you gonna, I don't know, like, how are you gonna put somebody above him? You know what I mean? Because I feel like he's the best in terms of putting people in the right space.
Rylan, the thing that I look at with Mark Daigneault, go back to the playoffs last year, and the regular season, they had a lot figured out, right? It was almost like clockwork of what they were doing night in and night out. And then the playoffs get here. It's a new season. Teams are playing more games against them, of course. That's how these series work. And their opponents are learning about how to defend Oklahoma City. And it's clearly tougher than it was in the regular season. But you look at what Mark Daigneault did last postseason. He continued to adapt and evolve. He made some mistakes, but he learned from those mistakes as well, helping put that team in position to succeed and ultimately win that Larry O'Brien trophy.
Yeah, I thought that he did a great job last postseason. I think that, some of the missteps was, the fouling down 3 too early in game one, and that kind of lingered around that whole series. And then he changed the lineup in the finals. But honestly, the starting lineup was not their problem with losing game one of that finals. Like, the starting lineup got them a 12-point lead. They just happened to let it go at the end of the game. But ultimately, in the postseason, you saw him really adjust to teams and force teams into the adjustments. Like the Timberwolves having to play small because while the Thunder started out that double big lineup against Minnesota, they quickly went to single big, and that forced Minnesota to take Rudy off the floor, who Rudy was having a great series up until that point. And so you're dictating how teams are having to play against this Thunder team. And if you can start to dictate those terms while having the best and most deep roster in the NBA, you're going to be set up for success. You look at how he drew up designs to defend Jokic, where they're swarming him as soon as he catches the ball. They're utilizing guys like J. Will, guys like Isaiah Hartenstein, and then here's little Chet, and then here's little Alex Caruso playing underneath you. Like, you're always changing the looks on Jokic. That led to one of Jokic's most inefficient series of his career as an all-time great player, one of the best players to ever play the game. Like, that was in large part with the aptitude of Mark Daigneault kind of leading the charge there. So he puts these guys in a great position to succeed. I think that he also just instills such trust in them and confidence in them that they can't help but produce as a guy who constantly will go 10, 11, 12 guys deep into their rotation. And I like that he stays true to who he is as a coach and doesn't try to adapt to NBA norms. Like his first playoff run, we all asked him, like, hey, this is all cute, but it's the playoffs. Guys only play 8 players in the playoffs. And he refused to adapt to that mindset, and it led to a championship.
Yeah, it's a great point. And so then I look at the idea, guys, okay, what is unique about him? Rylan mentioned, him sticking to who he is. But, also I look at, when you see these other coaches, and we've seen in Oklahoma City from Billy Donovan to Scott Brooks and others here, he gets these guys' attention too in other ways. Like Jeremy, I know you played, obviously here in Oklahoma City with Scott Brooks, and we saw what Billy Donovan did, and it seemed like there was a lot of times where the players kind of had more control than what the coaching staff was able to do. You look at what Mark Daigneault has going on, and when he speaks, these players are listening. He's not, not a jerk, to these guys, but they are willing to take his coaching and deal with that tough love too, it seems.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you gotta think, like, it's hard to think about like different coaches because it's hard to love a coach. It's hard to think about a coach and you're like, it's not a I don't know, it's kind of hard to like think about it, but coaches are in a tough position. And when you have a coach who actually loves you or care about you, it's hard. So I've had some great coaches in my life. My dad was a great coach. Scotty Brooks was a great coach. So when you think about coaches, it's like, are you going to like try to, I don't know, like just make sure like they care about you? You know what I mean? So when we got like coaches and I went to college at UConn, and Coach Calhoun, he really cared about me. He really cared about my well-being. So in those type times, it's like, how are we going to really care about each other? You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's tough. It's tough to think about, but at the end of the day, I don't know. Like, coaches they're like our fathers. You know what I mean? Like, they're like our dad, and they help us a lot. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's a very fascinating point to see. That player coach relationship. There, and it seems like Daigneault's got a lot figured out with those guys. And with that said, Rylan, what about specifically when we talk about Mark Daigneault and you look at him compared to other coaches in the league? How would you say he compares to when we think of the Spoelstras, the Steve Kerrs, the Rick Carlisles of the world? What I know that it's still very young in his tenure compared to some of those guys that have been around a long time. But how do you think he stacks up compared to what those guys do and what they've accomplished?
Yeah, I think that, you can just look no further than the annual NBA GM survey from NBA.com, where he's always ranked as one of the best coaches in the league. And particularly, I think that what makes these great coaches separate themselves from other good coaches is like having a niche, having something that they do at an exceptional level. And it's the defense for Mark. I mean, he has consistently brought this team to a high level of defense, even whenever they were winning 20-something games. They played above their skis on that end of the floor. Now this year, they've not only went from last year's number one defense in the league to this year's number one defense in the league, which is already an outlier in NBA history, but they've done it by being historic yet again on the defensive side of the floor. And every coach that gets these kind of flowers, like a Kerr and like a Spo and like Popovich and all these other guys, they all have something unique about them that they bring to the game of basketball itself. And Mark's willingness to surrender the corner threes, which is viewed as like one of the most efficient shots in basketball. But Mark's identity as a defensive coach, letting these guys switch off of every screen and fight through them and trap and blitz the ball handler. And then, you know what? If your fourth or third option is sitting in the corner from three, we're going to let you just have it. And it might burn you. It might burn you in a whole series like it did against Dallas with Derrick Jones Jr. and PJ Washington. But more often than not, that's still the better play than letting your top option go off. So if you really look at his track record, like Luka Doncic and Kyrie did not have the scoring series that we're used to seeing from them in that Dallas series. Jokic did not have the series that we're used to seeing from him in that second round series against Denver. Anthony Edwards did not have the scoring series that we're used to seeing around him. His ability to just shut off the top option on every team and just see if the role players can beat him, it's a sound strategy because, as he always says, like the league now, it's too talented to be able to take away everything. Like, so you're going to have to give away something. You might as well give away a team's third or fourth option versus their first option. And it's very much easier said than done. And they get it done every single time with his defense. So that mixed with his unique ability to draw up sideline and bounce plays, which is really efficient for this Thunder offense. Like those two things really stick out.
One thing to me, Jeremy, as well, that I think makes his story unique. You look at some of these other coaches around the league of where they came from. So much of it is, hey, let's go get the biggest name, or let's go get this former point guard that just retired a couple of years ago. With Mark Daigneault, this was a guy that Sam Presti pinpointed a long time ago that was, a student manager at UConn, had obviously you of course played. That's where he got his start going. And I had a relationship with Kevin Ollie and was an assistant with, Billy Donovan dating back to his Florida days. And then they bring him in and like, this is a byproduct, not just of Mark Daigneault, but this is what Sam Presti and this Thunder organization envisioned of who they wanted to be the perfect fit for what they wanted to do with this organization, of kind of how they brought Daigneault through the maturation process of sorts.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't know, like, it's tough to try to put somebody in the I don't know, in the organization, but I think he has definitely made his mark, and he literally has showed people that he needs to be the front man, like, and again, like I said, it's tough at the end of the day, but it's I feel like he's made his mark, and he put people in position to where like they are doing what they supposed to do. They 17-1. It's amazing that he was able to do it. And that's a hard thing to do, but he did it. And he got superstars in Shai Gilgeous. Like, he got superstars and he did what he's supposed to do. So I don't know. It's tough to do, but he did it. So
He did indeed. It's a great point. We're just getting started here on the Thunder Squad show. Coming up on the other side, Chet Holmgren. Is he an all-star come February? The Thunder's new number 2 option amid the injury to Jalen Williams is off to a pretty good start to the 2025-2026 campaign. We'll talk about that and more coming up on the other side as we continue here on the Thunder Squad show. Before we go any further on the Thunder Squad show, we want to take a moment to tell you about our friends at Robinhood. And folks, let's be real here. Nobody knows your money goals better than you. Robinhood puts you in control of your money with tools that work as hard as you do. Locking in on every opening, beating your PR, beating it again. Channel that drive into your money. Robinhood puts you in control of your money. Trade stocks and ETFs, options, futures, and crypto, all in one platform. You can now build and execute your own trades from a desktop with Robinhood Legends advanced tools, or take advantage of the new Robinhood strategies with a tailored portfolio managed by a team of experts. You can expect more from yourself. Expect more from your money. Get started today at Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Again, that's Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Your money, your move. Check out Robinhood today. And we're certainly glad to have them on board here on the Thunder Squad show. Thunder Squad show rolls on. Tyler Jones back here with you now alongside Jeremy Lamb and Rylan Stiles. Guys, let's talk about Chet Holmgren now. Rylan, we'll go to you first on this. Averaging just over 18 points a game, and we know their record 17-1. Even without Jalen Williams, the offense has still cruised along, and Chet Holmgren is a big reason why the Thunder have not missed a beat without Jalen Williams to start off this season.
Yeah, Chet Holmgren has been awesome for this team, and he's really changed his game. Like, overall, averaging 18 points, 8 rebounds, almost 2 assists per game, to go along with 1.5 blocks and almost a steal per game, while shooting 56% from the floor, 33% from 3, which you expect to bounce back given his history from behind the arc. Like, this is a guy who's really impacted winning at a high level for the Thunder. He's getting it done on the defensive end, as we would expect. He's improved as a rebounder, but also his ability to score in the mid-range is at an elite level right now, and that's really helped them solve the problem that they used to have of facing his own defense. He can also score at the rim now. We mentioned before how he's cutting more than he ever has in his career, and he's actually being a pick-and-roll man more than he has in his career versus popping out to that three-point line. That's generating some easy buckets for him. It's allowing for Shai to show an improved playmaking aspect of his game, and the Thunder continue to keep on winning. So with that being said, when it comes to the All-Star conversation, while the All-Star format is a bit different now with like it being split up in between the conferences and then also internationally, I do think that Chet Holmgren will get an All-Star nod this year. One, because I think that this is just a start for him. I think that by the time we get to the middle of February, his numbers will even be better than this, and he'll be rightfully an All-Star. But two, throughout the course of NBA history, if a team is winning at this clip, they get more than one all-star. And this is the guy. This is the number 2 guy for the Thunder right now in contention for that spot, and I think he's going to get it.
He's been very impressive so far to begin this 2025 to 2026 campaign. Jeremy, what do you like from what you've seen from Chet Holmgren at this point?
I definitely love how he's playing. But Rylan, I got a question for you. Do you think he's a superstar?
I don't think that Chet Holmgren's a superstar. I mean, superstar is kind of like a bar of denotation to me of like Giannis is a superstar, Shea is a superstar, Jokic is a superstar, Luka is a superstar. I think that it's hard to get to the super part of the star. I think that he is an all-star part of the star with the way he's playing right now. But that's just kind of a bordering line for me. It's like you got to be top 5 in MVP. You've got to be like a global brand to be the super part of the star.
What you think, Tyler?
I wouldn't call him a superstar either, but I would say that he's an all-star caliber player, that he's trending in that right direction. And it's the fact that he does it from both ends, offensively and defensively. He's one of the best shot blockers in the league. If Victor Wembanyama didn't exist, we might be talking about Chet as that guy that everybody is drawing attention to and, looks at as being that shot blocking menace of sorts. But I think Chet is trending upwards and still has a lot of good basketball left ahead of him, that this is just kind of the beginning of this process, personally, I think, Jeremy.
I think this man is a superstar. I think he's elite on both ends. He literally can block your shot and then score on you. So I feel that he's doing his thing. Like he is elite on both ends. Y'all, like, what? He's not a superstar? Y'all don't think so?
I think you got to do it a little bit more than for 14 games here.
I don't know if I get where you're saying on the defensive end, but I don't think his offensive game's there just yet in elite status.
What? How?
18 a game. I got to see more than 18 a game to call him elite.
How many blocks is he averaging?
What's the number?
1.5.
He's averaging 1.5 blocks?
Career low. He used to average 2.2.
Yeah, no, I think he's elite. I think so.
I think he has that. I think he has that ceiling to get there. I think that right now, like they are utilizing him in such a proper role of like his elite defensive ability is being able to shine both whenever they try to switch him out to the perimeter. He can be there because of his ability to have that recovery speed, because of his long strides. Even if a guard beats him off the dribble, he can still get that block from behind. You see Isaiah Hartenstein taking the hits down low, and then Chet comes over and cleans it up and gets a block down there while Hart's the one battling it physically. And then he can also be the anchor of the defense by himself if he's the lone center. So the defensive stuff, 100% elite. I think that he's a top 3 defender in the world. He's just 7 feet tall. I think that he's already, he's at 7'1" on Basketball Reference. I think that when you look at Chet, he's a top 3 defender in the world, like already. Offensively, I think that they're doing him a good thing of just letting him be a play finisher right now. Even with J-Dub being out, they're not asking him to do too much. They're not asking him to isolate. They're just asking him to hit your open shots, to go to the nail and hit a mid-range jumper, to roll to the rim and cap off 2 easy points. And that's all stacking up to have him not only have success now, but these are repeatable shots for him that once J-Dub returns, he's still going to get. And then once you have a full sample size of him being this player efficiently, him being this player consistently, then he's another guy in this trio that can reach that superstar status. I think that, it's semantics and all superstar. I don't know like what the threshold would have to be to get it done. I say he's on trajectory to make Jeremy look very right, but let's see where it all plays out.
So let me take this a step further here, Jeremy. Who's got the higher ceiling right now of that superstar status? Who's got the best potential to be the better player down the line? Is it Chet or is it Jalen Williams?
Definitely Chet.
Hmm.
And the reason I say that is just simply because this man is 7 feet. He's 7 feet. He is so big. He
Pause.
has no limits. He has no limits. So last week when we was talking and y'all said like, who is the second option? I mean, what? Like Chet he can do whatever he want on the court.
Yeah.
He can do whatever he want. He can post. He can shoot threes. He can do whatever he wants on the court. Whereas Jay Will, he got limits. And that's just real.
Jeremy,
You know what I mean?
I feel like we learned today that Chet's your second favorite player on this team. Your favorite player not named Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
I love Shai, and I love Chet, and I love Jay. I love all of them. But at the end of the day, it's different. It's different.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is different. I think
different.
that the ceiling of what Chet could be is higher than almost anybody in the league because he's so unique. Let's say hypothetically that he would clean up his handle and now he could start to create his own shot off the dribble. Like then you're looking at a guy who can score it all three levels and do it off the dribble, and it takes 2 strides to get to the rim, and he can finish there effectively even through contact, which he has improved on this season already. And he's a top 3 defender in the world. Like, so in terms of ceiling, like, yes, I would agree that he has the second highest ceiling on this roster just because it'd be hard to get to an all-time great status that Shai's already at. But if you're looking at like who's the second option right this very moment in time, I would still say it's Jalen Williams only because Jalen Williams can create for himself, and Chet is more of a play finisher.
No way.
But J-Dub can create his own shot.
So let me ask you, Jeremy, when Jalen Williams comes back from injury, do you think the change has already happened? Has Chet already surpassed Jalen Williams, or is that still a work in progress?
Absolutely. Chet is elite. He's elite. He's elite. It doesn't even make no sense why a 7-foot man that can do whatever. What can Chet not do that he can't do?
Well, I mean, again, I think that Chet can't create his own shot in the mid-range, off the dribble, and get to the rim at the level that J-Dub can. Santa Clara, Jalen Williams, just to be clear, the All-NBA player. I think that he can create his own shot off the dribble and hit shots in a phone booth at a higher level right now than Chet can. Not to say that that'll remain the case forever, but right now, on November 25th, 2025, in the year of our Lord, I think that J-Dub right now can get those shots at a higher clip.
I love J-Dub. I love his game, but Chet can do everything that he can do.
Jeremy,
he does everything that he could do.
Who does Chet Holmgren remind you of? Any comparisons? Anything that come to mind?
No, I'm not about to go into that.
He is a bit of a unicorn of sorts, right, Rylan? What do you say?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, it's so rare to find a 7-footer who can shoot at all 3 levels, and especially one who, like we said, he's not like people I don't think have really caught up to just how good he is defensively. Like, he's not a guy who can only hang around the rim or can only play drop coverage. In the finals, the biggest stage of his life, with the Thunder's chances hanging in the balance on the road, he gets 2 stops in isolation in the mid-range, and that wins them the game, and that ultimately wins them the NBA championship. Like, this is a guy who can do it defensively, on an island. He can do it defensively as a help side defender, cleaning up for Isaiah Hartenstein. He can do it in drop coverage. He can do it at the rim, taking on drivers. He can do everything in the world defensively. And he is one of the best of all time on that end of the floor that we're seeing presently right now. Offensively, he's a extremely high-level play finisher, an elite play finisher already. I think that he has the potential, and this is where his unicorn aspect comes in. If he just gets a little bit of a cleaner handle, you're already seeing him make these improvements to align himself with what Jeremy is talking about. If you see him get a little bit of a tighter handle, you've already seen his shot get faster. You've already seen his arc get better on his shot, and it's not as flat as it used to be. He can send it over defenders and knock it down, which in turn will help him out later in the season, because Jeremy, you saw this last year. He had a naturally flat shot last year. The second his legs went deeper into the season, his shot was no longer valid. But now with a higher arc on his shot, that's going to be sustained. So the only concern with Chet is going to be his handle and how soon can he get that handle up to par to be able to create for himself. Because another thing that I think that we've all glossed over so far, and this is to Jeremy's credit on his point that he's already elite. With Chet Holmgren, he does not get the credit as a passer that he should. A 7'1" guy.
He's elite on both ends.
He is. That's the
7'1"
guy who can pass like this.
That's the part that people don't understand. He's elite on both ends. He's elite on both ends.
Yes.
Like, he'll score on you and then he'll block your shot. It's like, what? So
and
he's amazing.
To kind of wrap up on this too, we're going to talk about Sam Presti in just a moment and all this, but real quick, Jeremy, when we talk about the Thunder and their defensive identity and what they've done with Presti and Daigneault and everything, how they've built this, like I look at Chet Holmgren and that feels like a player that Sam Presti wanted built out of a lab of sorts. Like that's his guy, it seems.
Absolutely. He's one of a kind. Like it's not, I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain how he moved, but I be watching the games. I'm like, yo, what? This man he's elite. He's elite on both ends, though. Both ends. He can switch.
We got plenty more to talk about in the Thunder Squad Show. On the other side, let's talk about Sam Presti. Have the Thunder figured out the second apron? We will explain more coming up in just a moment as we're about halfway through today's show. Stay with us. Thunder Squad Show rolls on here in just a moment, but first, let's tell you about Drip Drop. When I'm hydrated, everything just works better. My focus, energy, mood, even my skin. That's why I've been using Drip Drop. It's doctor-developed hydration that keeps me running at full power no matter what my day looks like. Drip Drop isn't your average sports drink. It delivers 3 times the electrolytes and half the sugar of leading brands using a science-backed formula trusted by medical professionals, firefighters, and over 90% of top college and pro teams. It actually tastes amazing. My go-to flavor is got to be the strawberry, and it's becoming my secret weapon for staying sharp and energized through long days. Right now, Drip Drop is offering podcast listeners 20% off your first order. Go to dripdrop.com and use promo code LOCKDOWNNBA. That's dripdrop.com, promo code LOCKDOWNNBA for 20% off. Stock up now before the heat hits hard and keep your body and mind performing at their best with Drip Drop. Check them out now. Proud partner of the Thunder Squad Show. Thunder Squad Show rolls on. Tyler Jones, Jeremy Lamb, Rylan Stiles back here with you now. And much has been made in the association about the second apron and how it's created a lot of parity in the NBA. We have seen 7 straight years of 7 different champions. And we've seen that teams felt like they had a good thing going and had to dismantle it a bit. And, you know, when you look at the second apron, I think there's this misconception of, well, you could just pay the luxury tax and get away with things. Are these teams too cheap to pay the luxury tax? No, that's not it. If you go too far into the luxury tax, there's certain rules and processes that you cannot follow to build your roster and keep things intact and the way things are limited. With that said, the Thunder put their big extensions together this offseason to keep their big three, SGA, Jalen Williams, and Chet Holmgren long-term, still have great players around them and more draft picks coming. I'll sit here and say this. As tough as the second apron has been for everyone else to figure out, I think at this point in time, Rylan, Sam Presti has got it down to a science of how to make this work. And I think that, it's one of those deals where I feel like the Thunder are the exception to the rule, while everyone else is still playing behind the eight ball and trying to figure out what they can do to keep their teams going and consistent. Sam Presti, I think, has this team already built for a long time with the rules that have been presented in front of them here. They know what they're doing, and everyone else is trying to play catch up.
Yeah, and there's a few reasons for that. I mean, Sam Presti was directly involved with helping create the CBA, and it benefits a lot of the things the Thunder already have, like a ton of draft picks being of even more value now in the CBA to get that cost-controlled talent into your building and on your books, as opposed to paying older guys. And so when you look at this CBA for the Thunder, this is how it's setting up so perfectly for them. It goes beyond just the team-friendly deals that they've already signed. We'll get to those in a second, but winning a championship and having 2 straight years of contention, even if you don't count that play-in season, just 2 straight years of being the number 1 seed in the West without being a tax-paying team, that's unheard of. Once they hit that taxpayer threshold, which again will not be this year, so it'll be 3 straight years of not being a taxpayer team while being a contender. Once they hit that taxpayer threshold, they will not hit the repeater tax until there's a brand new CBA. So all the restrictions that we know today, likely most of them will be gone, and they'll have to craft a whole new CBA, and you'll have to deal with a whole new realm of parameters. So that's the first thing. The second thing is this has been in line with everything else that's happened externally from the team. The team's getting a new arena, which is a massive profit boost. That the team is going to look at the new media rights deal that the NBA just signed and get more money incoming from that. There's going to be some form of expansion, whether it be true NBA expansion or it be Adam Silver's plan to go into Europe and to have the Euro leagues and what he's trying to envision with doing that. That's more money generated for this team. And they've been not paying the luxury tax for the last 5 years now in Oklahoma City. So they've saved money on that end while getting paid. They got paid last year by the NBA teams to win the championship. That's where this thing is all set up for the Thunder right now, on top of the fact that they're not going to hit that repeater penalty until this CBA is null and void and they're onto a new CBA. But then you mix in what Sam Presti has actually done on the books. You look at a guy like AJ Mitchell, who he re-signed this offseason, and he's only paying $3 million this year too. Next year, it's a descending contract. Next year, he gets paid $2.8 million. And the year after that, he gets paid $2.8 million again. That is, in and of itself, one of the most team-friendly deals and bargain contracts you're ever going to find. Guys like J. Will making under $10 million. Wiggins making exactly $10.1 million. Isaiah Joe making $12 million. You just could not have crafted a better salary cap sheet than you have right now. There's no escalator in Chet Holmgren's contract. So he can make All-Star, he can make All-NBA, he can win Defensive Player of the Year. He gets no extra bonus. Sadly for J-Dub, unless he plays Wednesday and plays in the NBA Cup Championship, he's not going to be able to hit his escalator either. And so that does not happen for J-Dub or Chet. And so you looked on down this list, they've crafted themselves a beautiful salary cap sheet right now. And the biggest thing that they've done and the biggest foresight that they had at the time of creating this roster is optionality, because there's going to be a lot of talk about Lou Dort and Isaiah Hartenstein, and we did this debate last week. Well, if you do have to make a tough decision on somebody, you have the option of elevating Cason Wallace into that Lou Dort role. If you want to bring both those guys back, Isaiah Hartenstein and Lou Dort, then you can shuffle around the back end of your roster and replace it with the 4 draft picks that you have in this year's loaded draft class. So they have so many different avenues to go to alleviate the pressures of this restrictive CBA that you could not have dreamed up a better outcome for the Thunder than this.
Yeah, it's remarkable of what they've done to keep this together. And I look, Jeremy, with where this roster is and all those draft picks, it's impossible, right, to keep everybody. That's just not realistic. But they have done about as well as they potentially could have of preparing for, hey, when we do have to make a tough decision, when we do have to move on from somebody, we are going to be prepared for that circumstance. They are Sam Presti. I think not enough people are mentioning this as well. Jeremy is learning from his previous mistakes of, how things were handled, at the end of KD's tenure and some of the tough decisions they made and some of the regrets there. Sam Presti has, basically said, I'm not going to let those type of things happen again
here. Yeah. I mean, with KD, it was different.
Yeah.
Like he knew what he had to do. So I don't know. I mean, what in that situation is kind of tough. But at the same time, Sam he knows how to really build a team. So it's kind of tough to say, like, like from the past decisions or whatever. I don't know. It's kind of funny to think about it, and it's like he learned from his mistakes, and now he's learning, like, okay, now I gotta make sure my people stay, so he paid people, they did this, they did that. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not like a bad thing that he understands how to keep people in the city.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, and I would say too, when you look at where this team, how they've been assembled in the second apron, and Rylan brings up the point, okay, there's going to be this new CBA coming here sooner than later, and how involved Sam Presti was last time. Rylan, I don't know what you've heard, or if you have heard anything at all, but I am very curious. With people knowing that Sam Presti was a big reason why that CBA was what it was and how well it worked out for the Thunder, I wonder if people in the league are going to be involved and say, yeah, we're not giving Sam what he wants again, or having him have as much say-so as he did last time. I'm very curious how that plays out behind the scenes.
Yeah, I think it's more so like a collaborative effort in the sense of getting representatives from each sort of region of the NBA, so to say, where it's like the things that a Steve Ballmer would want versus the things that a New Orleans Pelicans would want are vastly different. How do you get them towards the middle of like, okay, if we do this, if we will tax Steve Ballmer, what can we do to then help New Orleans, and then what can New Orleans do to have to like maybe raise the salary cap floor, for example? Like, okay, well, if we're going to make him have to pay way less, you've got to start paying more. You've got to start to elevate how much that you're willing to spend, period. Obviously not getting toward the tippy top. So I think it's more of a group effort versus like a negotiation in the traditional sense of like who won, who got their way. But it's just all about like the foresight of where the league is trending. And this was a rare example where the Thunder have been lucky enough to be on the cutting edge of that. Like you saw the Kevin Durant situation, the cap spike was the entire reason that it allowed this whole unique scenario to play out, where he could go to the Warriors and leave Oklahoma City and go and join that super team because of that cap spike. Now in this CBA, the lottery, the salary cap will be a flattened increase every single year, where there's not going to be these huge spikes in the salary cap. They're going to cap it off at about 10% incline as its max, and then they'll pay off the rest of it later on down the road. And so I think that when you look at those situations, like that's what teams are bracing for. And quite honestly, like, a lot of the things that benefit Oklahoma City and benefit Sam Presti also benefit about 27 other teams. Like, the only teams that would prefer that Sam Presti didn't get his way would be like Steve Ballmer, and would be like the Lakers and the Celtics. Every other team was glad to see Steve Ballmer not be able to turn the Clippers into the Dodgers. And so I think that there's a lot of that aspect of it too.
Yeah, and I think too, as you know, I know that there was some complaining when we went into this offseason how free agency was boring, that we didn't have the excitement that we typically see. But you look at the ratings this year, for example, are up, I think I read about 30% for these national games this year. Granted, there's more games on network TV with NBC involved and such. But, having teams like Oklahoma City have this chance and, to be able to compete, to have more of this parity that's been created of sorts in Oklahoma City, being the new kids on the block. Jeremy, I think all in all that what the Thunder have done and how they've worked the second apron and everything, like the state of the league, I would say that this is all good, not just for the Thunder, but it's good for the NBA, I think.
Yeah, I think so too, because it's a great thing, because people don't understand how they're doing it. You
Right.
know what I mean? Like, it's like it's a different thing. And people don't understand it's dope because people don't understand who's gonna win. Like, no one knows who's gonna win this year. You got Jokic, you got Shea Gilgeous, you got Ant Edwards. Like, you don't know who's going to win. And
the parity is unbelievable now.
Yeah. And at first it was like, LeBron or Steph or whoever gonna win. But now it's like you have no clue who's gonna win. So I love the fact that they are elite. The Thunder is elite.
Yeah.
You have no clue if they're gonna win or not. But yeah, they might form a dynasty, and you never know.
Yeah, you never know. We'll see how it all goes from here. We got one more segment to get to here on the Thunder Squad Show, as we're going to be talking about Cason Wallace and his role. What does that look like for him in the Oklahoma City Thunder? We'll discuss that more coming up on the other side. Thunder Squad Show rolls on. Tyler Jones back here with you now, and we want to take a moment to tell you about Game Time. Basketball season is officially here, and nothing beats being in the arena for those opening games. But let's be real, getting tickets can be a total headache. Between waiting in queues, surprise fees, and prices that jump right before checkout, it's easy to get frustrated when all you want to do is cheer on your team. That's where Game Time comes in, the app that gives fans the advantage. It's your ultimate life hack for scoring amazing NBA tickets fast, easy, and stress-free. I recently used Game Time to grab my seats for the Oklahoma City Thunder, and I couldn't have been happier with the so simple experience. I had great seats in minutes. Their zone deals are a game changer. You pick the section, Game Time picks your seats, and you save big. You can even find NBA tickets for under $25. Take the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKDOWNNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. That's code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Check out Game Time today. All right. There you have it. More to come here on the Thunder Squad Show. Final segment here on the Thunder Squad Show. Tyler Jones, Jeremy Lamb, Rylan Stiles back here with you now. Let's talk Cason Wallace here, guys. Rylan, with J-Dub out, it's been an opportunity for a lot of different guys. One of those is Cason Wallace. And, you know, we've talked on this program that, hey, if Lou Dort was gone, for example, Cason Wallace could step right in and do the exact same thing that Lou Dort does. But now we're starting to see it's not just all defense with Cason Wallace. We've always known that he was an all-defensive type caliber player. But the offensive game is there, and Cason Wallace looks like he's really coming into his own here.
Yeah, I mean, the defense certainly cannot be glossed over with his ability to lead the league in steals and, getting stress tested a little bit whenever Lou was hurt, to be able to go in a murderer's row of Luka, Steph, and be able to shut all three of those guys down in a week as the primary defender. Like, that just shows the growth that he's had. And, he's a young player still, and he's learned the lessons of, like, how to do your prep work, how to do your scouting work before a game, whenever he used to just admittedly play off of instincts in the midst of these games. But offensively, what you're seeing from him is keeping it simple. He's not trying to press or do too much. This is a guy who is going to be the ultimate guy as a complementary piece to Shea that is going to be set up perfectly, and all he's got to do is do his job. And right now you're seeing him do that. In the corners from three, he's shooting a career high 48%, which is in the 86th percentile in the NBA. Those are shots that he has gotten throughout his entire career at a high volume, and he has not knocked them down at this level, including last year when he shot 34% on corner threes, the majority of which were considered wide open, and he just so happened to miss them. Now he's rounding back into form as a shooter in the corners, which is where the majority of his shots are going to come from. At the rim, he's shooting right now 66%. This is a number that can get higher and should get higher. His career high is 73% as a rookie at the rim. I expect this to improve moving forward, but he's also a guy that in this time, the one area of his game that has expanded because of the absence of Jalen Williams' usage on the ball has been his secondary playmaking, taking a dribble inside the arc, slicing through the lane, kicking it back out to the corner for three, getting the secondary actions going for this offense. And as a secondary playmaker, I think he has made improvements. So ultimately, it's a lot of just doing your job, but there has been some sprinkles of improvement for Cason Wallace.
Yeah, Cason Wallace has been really good. Jeremy, what's your thoughts? What do you like from what you've seen from Cason Wallace here?
I think he's the best defender in the league right now. At first it was what's his name?
I don't know. Who are you thinking of?
Who does he play for?
The Clippers.
Oh, Kawhi Leonard?
Kawhi?
At first, Kawhi was the best defender in the league. But now I'm looking at it. I mean, how can you say that Cason Wallace is not the best defender in the league? Who's better? Who's better?
This is a question that I want to throw back at you. Do you consider him the best defender in the league, period? Or do you have two different best defenders in the league? Do you have one that's a point of attack best defender in the league and one that's a center, rim protector best defender in the league? Or do you combine the two?
I mean, we got the best defenders in the league.
Because I mean, is he a better defender than Chet though? I mean, if he's the best in the world, or do you have them in separate categories?
So Chet, he can't guard like Cason Wallace do. He can't.
Yeah. So you have Cason above Chet, and you have him above everybody in the league, regardless of position.
Absolutely.
He'd be your depoy right now.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, who like what?
I like it.
Like, who's better?
I mean, he's clearly making an impact at leading the league in steals, and the numbers that he's had. Now, this has been a part of the Thunder season. they just haven't gotten the opportunities yet to play against a lot of marquee names. But when they have, they've done excellent defensively. We mentioned that 3-game stretch of Cason by himself, being able to shut down Luka, Steph, Ja, like just shutting them down completely. Like Luka had more attempts than points in the game against Cason Wallace. That in and of itself is outrageously good for this Thunder team and for Cason individually. So he's playing at that level. He's playing at one of the best defenders in the league level, and you can parse through who's the very best however you want. There's a lot of statistics. There's a lot of eye tests that could back up Jeremy's claim through the first 18 games.
So who would you pick for the best defender? Who would you pick? Who would you pick?
I'd go Victor Wembanyama as the best defender in the league right now.
What do you got on Wemby?
He better than Cason?
I mean, like, what can he not defend? He could defend all 5 positions and the block shots and everything. Like, that's not a guy I would want to deal with.
How would you attack Wemby?
What? Wemby?
What if you were able to play against Wemby, would you try to pull him out to the perimeter and drive by him, or would you try to keep him in drop and then throw a floater up over him?
I would have a good time with Wemby. I would have a great time.
What are you seeing though to exploit that?
He can't like guard me on the perimeter.
So you try to draw him out and get around him, or would you try to dance with him out there?
Absolutely. But Cason, he can do everything.
Yeah,
he can do everything.
But if we're going to penalize Wemby for the perimeter, what if you get Cason at that rim? You trust them to contest at the rim?
It's not many people that can guard me, so it's like I don't know. Like Cason, I would be like, oh shit, like how am I going?
Is it easier or harder to guard guys to go up against guys like Cason who always have their hands active? Like he's always swiping at the ball. Does it give you more chances to break him, or would you rather play a guy that just plays you straight up and doesn't always try to go for the ball?
I would just rather like Cason. I would just have to like back him down, because I wouldn't know how to, because he
you can't show him the ball.
He got hands.
Yeah, you can't put the ball in front of him.
I mean, but then when it goes to Wemby, it's like, damn, like I gotta I don't know. It'll be tough. It'll be tough with Wemby.
It's a fascinating discussion. Wemby or Cason Wallace. I did not expect that to be where we went with today's show, but I like it. It's an intriguing prospect. So with that said, Cason Wallace, just one final point before we go. Where does he go from here? What else would you like to see, Jeremy, from him out of his game? Where do you want to see things go from here with him?
With Cason Wallace?
Yeah, with Cason Wallace. Yeah, real quick.
Yeah, I just hope he. I want him to shoot 500 shots, and I want him to be great shooting because he is amazing on defense.
Yeah.
So if he's able to hit them shots, then that'd be perfect.
Rylan, final word to you. Cason Wallace, where do you see his game going from here?
Well, I think that with Cason, it's going to be a guy who needs to do much of the same that he's already doing. But if he can get back to his rookie year rim finishing, this is the storyline I think they need to monitor for Cason the rest of the way. If he can get back to the 73% at the rim, which was in the 91st percentile as a rookie, right now he's down to 66. If he can get to that number or surpass it, and he becomes elite shooting the ball in the restricted area and at the corners from three, those are the two most frequent shots he's going to get in the playoffs. If he's elite at hitting both of them, then it goes back to our very first conversation regarding Mark. When coaches are looking around and trying to figure out, well, we can't shut everybody down. We've got to give something up. If you're going to give up a guy who can shoot at an elite level in the corner and at the rim, that's not a good recipe, and the Thunder are going to beat you pretty handedly. So that's what I'm looking forward to for Cason, to continue to develop that part of his game.
All right, that does it for the Thunder Squad show for this Tuesday. Programming note, we will be here on Thursday, on Thanksgiving Day, 3:30 Central Time for a normal show after we get our Thanksgiving meals in us. Maybe Jeremy's mom is going to stop by or something potentially. Who knows? Stay tuned for that. We'll see you same time, same place, 3:30 Central Time right here on Thursday. The Thunder Squad show live each and every Tuesday and Thursday at 3:30 on YouTube, podcast version on all podcast platforms as well. For Jeremy Lamb and Rylan Stiles, my name is Tyler Jones. Thanks for joining us, and we will see you next time right here on the Thunder Squad show.